Three of
Yes,
you are
sir.
here. Uh,
Yes.
Out of these, which organisms reproduces by budding?
So can I?
Okay, that is
So yeast.
yeast. Correct. Hmm. Anyone has any confusion in this? I hope not.
No, sir.
Okay. Next question is that do answer me. Out of carpel, stamen, petal, and sepal. Although we haven't reached this part, but I did talk a little bit about it, I believe. So which one is the female reproductive part of the plant?
Sir, can I?
Yeah?
Sir, it's stamen.
No.
Sir, can I?
Yeah?
It's pastel, like, yeah.
Carpel or pistil?
Yeah, it's pastel.
Carpel or pistil? Carpel is another name for pistil. Okay. Okay. Take one more question. Now consider bryophyllum. Bryophyllum, I suppose all of you have heard of the name. So
Yes,
it
sir.
does reproduction via leaf, via flower, or via root, or via stem.
Sir, can I?
Yeah?
So oh my
Sir,
God.
by a
Okay.
leaf.
By leaf.
A leaf?
By leaf, yeah, correct. Okay. Now, say you have another example, say another question here. Take one more example. I believe you guys can answer this one.
Okay, sir.
I'm writing some of the name of the plants. Okay. If you guys had studied the chapter in class 6, you guys have studied getting to know plants was a chapter there, right? In this you might have studied about dicotyledons and monocotyledons. So out of the four here, wheat, gram,
Sir,
and banana, and a sugar cane, which one is a dicotyledon? Yeah, Chakrika, you were saying something.
sir, I don't know. I don't think I studied them.
Same, sir.
Same.
Like I don't remember I studied this.
Okay.
I also didn't study for this month. In my class,
What?
they did not.
You
Yeah,
guys,
they also did not. They
you
did
guys
not have
haven't
like
just.
study.
Acha, acha.
Yeah.
You guys haven't studied about dicotyledons and monocotyledons.
No,
Acha.
Yes,
sir.
sir.
I think that is a very basic thing, and you guys should be aware of it. So we will continue with the chapter, but I would like to discuss this question, this topic. Okay. So it will be just taking 1 minute. See, when we observe a seed now, we get to see like there are usually two types of seed. Consider example of a kidney bean. It can be split into two parts now, right? A
Yes,
kidney
sir.
bean can be split into two parts. So you see, when a seed basically germinates now, it requires nutrition. It requires something from which it will be taking energy. Yeah. So see this fleshy part that you see over here. These are called as cotyledons. What do we call them as? Repeat.
Cotyledons.
That are cotyledons. And in the example of a bean, or in the case of, let's say you have example of other seeds also, like consider example of gram, that is chana, or you have example of peas also, that is matar. Yeah, peas also called as matar. So there you get to see that seeds are basically like split into two parts, and there are two cotyledons here. So we call it as dicotyledons. Di means what? Di means two. Di means two
Yes,
in
sir.
number. They are called as dicotyledons. Is this clear to all of you?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes,
So
sir.
these are the examples of the plants whose seeds are having two
So, sir,
cotyledons. Yeah.
so, sir, each part is called cotyledon.
Each part is called as cotyledon.
Okay, sir.
Okay. Then you have example of seeds, like consider the example of rice, yeah, or consider the example of corn, yeah, that is maize basically. So its seeds somewhat looks like this. Right now, this is how the corn basically looks like. Okay.
Yes, sir.
So is there a division in this seed? Do we get to see like there's a separation?
No, sir.
No. So there's only one cotyledon is there only. One cotyledon is there. So
Yes, sir.
what does mono mean? Mono means one. So I can call it as monocotyledon. Monocotyledon. And
Sir, I have
sometimes,
a doubt.
yeah,
Sir, you said that each part is called a cotyledon.
yeah.
So when it's not actually, when we won't be able to divide it into two equal parts, why can't we just call it cotyledon?
We can look here. Since it is having just one cotyledon now, thereby we call it as monocotyledon, having just one cotyledon. Monocotyledon now, it specifies the term more. Okay, it gives a very specific sense, like this seed is having only one cotyledon. Like if I were to say just one cotyledon now, okay, I might be someone might think of the dicot seed also, like the seed is having cotyledon. How many? Two or one? So having two, it means they are dicotyledon. Having just one, it means I'm talking about a monocotyledon seed. So just to keep the meaning clear, we call it as monocotyledons. Hope it is clear to everyone,
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir. It is clear.
right? So you have examples of seeds like rice. That is an example of a monocotyledon. Okay. Further, you will study like you have leaves also of different types. I hope you have studied about the parallel and reticulate venation. Yeah,
Yes, sir.
Yes,
parallel
sir.
venation and the reticulate venation.
Yes.
Okay, so the reticulate venation is found in the plants whose seeds are having two cotyledons, while the parallel venation is seen in the plants whose seeds are having just one cotyledon. So those are some of the another interesting features about such plants, right? Okay. Also, you see, like carrot, the leaves of the carrot, they are having reticulate venation, no? Yeah. In the reticulate venation, you get to see like leaves are branched like this. Yes.
Sir, but
In
they
the
look
leaves, the
more like
veins are branched
grass.
like this. Yeah.
Sir, but the leaves of carrot look mostly like grass, right?
It looks mostly like grass, but just pay attention to this type of venation in it now. Okay, the diagram might not be exact, but just understand this thing here that you will be having branched pattern of veins in it, branched veins in it, right
Okay,
now.
sir.
Mm. While in the case of parallel venation, you will see that the veins are running parallel to each other. What is a parallel line? Huh, Sundus? Parallel
What's
line
that?
in
Sorry.
mathematics we study about parallel lines.
Yes.
What are they?
It's
Sir, can I?
like joining together. Like I mean,
Mm-hmm.
uh, like
Sir, can I?
um, Earth lines are parallel, right? Like that. Like they are joining in one side.
Okay, Chakrika, you?
Sir, parallel lines never meet.
They never meet. Or as Sundus, you were saying they don't meet. Yeah. So basically, two lines which does not meet at any point. So those are the parallel lines. What were the intersecting lines? Those that meet at least one point. Those are the intersecting lines. Okay, anyways, let's continue the chapter. So we did talked about the reproduction in heterotrophic plants, right? We did talk about budding, fragmentation, and the spore formation. Hope you guys have not forgotten the examples.
No, sir.
Okay. Now we are going to study about the vegetative propagation, and we did talked about the vegetative propagation seen in the plants, right? Uh, if you guys remember in the previous class, we were talking about adventitious birds and the roots. Yeah. In order to understand what were the adventitious birds and roots, we need to first understand the classification of the root system. Like what are the different types of root system found in different plants? First, we will understand that thing. After that, you will be better able to say what are the adventitious roots and what are the adventitious birds as well. So I
Sir,
hope.
but you said that they are these small buds which are just like, which are still not
Mhm.
like basically kind of like premature buds and premature roots.
They are extra, you said, like that.
Look here. Basically, we get to see now. Like birds grows from different parts of the plants, right? They are birds that from birds flowers also grow. They are birds that grows in the stem also. They are birds that grows in the root also. So there's a basic difference between the different types of birds. Okay. And why? Like you hear the term birds and then you hear the term adventitious birds also. Yeah. So what is the difference between the two? When do I call a particular bird as adventitious birds? Okay. So first let's get to understand that also. Okay. In the previous class, I did told you guys about adventitious birds, but the meaning was not grasped. All right now. So thereby I thought like first you guys need to understand about the different types of root system first. Thereby it will be more clear. All right. Okay. See the different types of root system that is found in the plant. One is basically a taproot system. Another one is the adventitious root system. Hope you guys have studied these things in the previous classes. Have you guys? Yeah. Hello.
So I've learned about taproot and fibrous roots.
So can you
Fi-
repeat again?
I was saying that you guys have studied about the types of root system in previous classes or not? I think you guys would have.
Yes, sir.
Sir,
Yes,
I only studied about tap roots and fiber roots.
Yes, sir.
Okay, okay. Look here.
I
The
don't
main
know, but I didn't learn the polar one. What is even that? I don't know. Like they didn't teach in the last class the polar one.
okay, okay. Don't worry, you will be learning all that today. Okay. So first of all, you have got plants like this in which there's a main root that continues from the base of the stem. These are the stem, right? So if a a main root grows from the base of the stem and from that main root arises secondary root. First of all, what are these? These are the main root. These are the main root, or we also call them as the primary root. Okay. So main root, or either we call them as primary root also. Then after you can see that in the lateral direction, in the sideways, there are secondary roots that are arising from the main root. All right. So they are secondary root also. And later on, I can see that there are root hairs arising from the secondary root also. Yeah. See the tiny root hairs? Yes?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So this is such type of root system in which a main root that will be thicker, that will be longer, will be arising from the base of the stem. Hope it is clear.
Yes, sir.
Right. Okay. Acha, you guys tell me here, like what about the root here? Is root here arising? Is this root here arising from the base of the stem? Yeah. Is this root here actually arising from the basis of the stem?
Sir, I didn't get it. Can you repeat the question again?
This root here is is it actually directly arising from the base of the stem, or is it basically growing from the secondary root?
No, sir. It's going from the secondary root.
It's growing from the secondary root, correct? So this is all about the tap root. So let's quickly summarize. A, B, C. What was the first property about the tap root system?
It is like thick.
First thing you will say,
Its main root is thick.
main root grows from the base of a stem. Okay. Second thing, yeah, you guys tell me.
The secondary roots grow from the main root.
That will be also included, but second we will say it will be thicker and longer. And longer. Then it will be secondary roots will be growing out of the main root, also called as the tap root. All right now. Either we see main root or the primary root or the tap root, all of them are same, right? Now in the diagram you can notice I have taken two examples of tap root. Yeah. So the second one that you are seeing now, that is actually a modified tap root system which is acting as storage house of the food, right? So there could be modification in the tap root system also. Hope this much is clear to all of you.
So can I just repeat what you said right now?
I just said that the second diagram that you see here, that is an example of a tap root also. The first one is also, both of them are tap roots. The second one is modified for is food storage. Okay.
Okay, sir.
So tap root can act as storage house of food also. Hope it is clear to all of you now.
Yes, sir.
Right.
Yes, ma'am.
So,
Yes,
so
sir. I'm so
right,
sorry.
sir. So,
Yeah.
radish is also a taproot then.
Exactly. Radish or carrot or turnip, all of them are example of the tap root system. Yeah, Chakrika, you were saying something.
Nothing, sir. I said that I got it.
Okay, okay. Now you have got another type of roots. Here you can see that the adventitious roots now. First of all, you guys see me. What observation you guys are able to make here? Look at
So
the
like it's very thin.
thin.
Sir,
You
which
guys.
root are we talking
So for
about
fibrous
here?
So like
roots or
compared to
adventitious
taproot, the
roots?
fibrous roots are very thin.
That is correct. Look, guys, here. I will be asking questions from you guys. First of all, know one more thing. I hope you guys have also studied about the parts of a germinating seed also. Yeah. Do you guys
Sir, but
have a
which type of fruit we are talking about?
right now? No, we are talking about adventitious roots. We are about to discuss this one. But before that,
Okay.
you guys answer me one more question here. Like when a seed starts to germinate, so you get to see like there are different parts that arises from it now. You get to see when a seed is germinating, this structure that arises from the seed first. What do we call this structure as, by the way? Yes. And later on, no. You see that seed emerges out of the soil. Hope you guys are able to understand my drawing here.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. See what I'm saying here. This is
Sir,
a
is the
seed.
second one a root?
Second one is exactly that is a root here. And this root in its premature stage, it is called as radical. What do we call this as? Radical.
Radical.
It it is here as well. Yeah, Sundus, Vaiga, Chikrika, all of you are getting it or not? This is radical.
Yes, sir.
Radical,
Yes, sir.
radical later on develops into the root. Yeah, radical later on develops into the root, and there's one more thing that arises from the seeds now. That is its name starts from P. Anyone who can guess the name?
So P.
So like plumule.
Plumule, exactly. That is plumule, and plumule later develops into the shoot system. See, when a seed starts germinating, there are two different sets of tissues that grows from the seeds. One is the radical, another one is the plumule. So this green leaf that you're seeing over here, no, this is actually once it was a plumule over here. Yeah. Okay. So plumule later on develops into the shoot system, while the radical later on develops into the root system. Is that much clear to all of you or not? Please do let me know.
Yes, sir. It's clear.
Yes, sir.
Right. Also, like, it's a general observation. So think of general observation. Like if you were to plant a moong seed, everyone understands what is a moong seed, right? So when moong seeds is germinating, you get to see like there are two different sets of tissues growing out of it. There will be one white tissue. White tissue will be growing out. That will be radical. Then there will be greenish tissue that will grow out of the soil. That will be plumule. No, the thing about this adventitious roots here that these are not those types of roots that have grown from parts other than the radical. Let me repeat that. What I just said, I said that adventitious roots now they are those roots that has arises from any point from any other sources but other than the radical. If I were to look at the taproot, whether it's a radish, turnip, carrot, rose, or any other plant, so there I get to see that the roots have arisen from radical. Look, once this root was a radical. This root once it was also radical. Are you guys getting it or not? Please do tell me.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Right. So in the case of adventitious roots, I just say that these are the roots that arises from part or source other than the radical. Other than the radical. Sundus, Vaiga, Chikrika, everyone is okay with this thing or not?
Yes, sir.
All right.
Yes, sir.
Now, what about this plant over here? Yeah. Actually, this stem that you see here, no, it is connected to the main plant. Imagine this like this is a runner. Runners that is there in the syllabus. We have to discuss this. Let me take you there. Let me take you to this diagram. You'll be able to relate better then. Yeah.
So,
See
sir,
this.
it'll basically, so, sir, the root basically directly develops from the stem, each one of it.
In the
Sir?
case of a strawberry, no, from the horizontal stems, horizontal stems, the roots are developing, but the roots are not directly developing from the radical. See, this one hasn't developed from the radical. So, in the example of a strawberry, you had the example of a
Yes, sir.
adventitious roots. Yes, on this.
Sir, I was saying that can I leave? Like I have
Why?
to go where I'm actually in another country.
Okay.
So can I leave?
Okay, okay, no issue. Okay, but
Okay, thank you, sir.
join quickly. Okay, you will
Uh,
not be joining again for today's class.
yes,
Okay, okay,
right.
okay.
Okay, sir. Thank
Hmm.
you.
All right. So this was about the adventitious roots. Now look at the example of the fibrous roots now. Look at the example of the roots that are growing out of the bryophyllum leaves. Yeah. Or the roots arising out of this plant over here. Yeah. It's a maize plant, I think. Yeah. So these are the further classifications of adventitious roots actually. Right now? Getting it now. Hope it
Yes,
is
sir.
clear.
Yes, sir.
So basically, in the vegetative propagation method, this was very important to be discussed, right? So vegetative root, it is clear. Now, sorry, adventitious roots. After this, you have got adventitious birds also. Okay, so this one is clear. Now let's move to the next topic. That is about the adventitious birds actually. Any guesses what are
So
these
can you
things?
go to the previous slide once?
This one.
No, sir, the before one.
Okay, okay, this one.
Yes, sir, you can continue.
Now let's understand about the adventitious birds. Why we are talking about them here, Vaiga? Because we can do vegetative propagation via the help of adventitious roots and birds. That's why we are discussing them, right? First of all, I will look at the adventitious birds. Just observe this image for a while. Yeah. Now, see at the tip of this growing plant, at the tip of the shoot system, at the tip of the root systems, there are tissues which are called as apical meristem tissues. What do we call them as? Apical meristem. Yeah, Chakrika and Vaika, I am saying that in the tip of the roots of the plants, or in the tip of the shoot system, like in the tip of the branches or the leaves, you get to see there are growing tissues which are called as apical meristem tissues. There's nothing too difficult in it. Just remember that apical meristems are the tissues that are found in the found in that part of the area of the plant where growth takes place, right?
So basically the shoot system.
Not just shoot system, in the tip of the roots also. Look at where the boxes are pointing. They are
So
pointing at the
can it both of them?
exactly.
Okay,
It
sir.
is found in the tips of the roots, and it is found in the tip of branches as well, right? The tip of basically shoot system. Hope it is clear to both of you. What is apical
No,
meristem?
can you just explain it again?
Yeah, sure. Look, apical meristems are what now? Like just like we humans have got different set of tissues in our body, right? So in the
Yes, sir.
similar manner, now there is a tissue called apical meristem that is found in the root tips, and it is found in the shoots also, and it is also found in the new leaves. It will be found in the new leaves.
Okay,
Getting
sir.
it now? So it will be found in the tips of the uh, roots and tips of the new leaves as well. Hope it is clear to both of you, right?
Yes, sir, it's
Yes,
clear.
sir.
Right. So this tissues plays a major role in the growth of the plant. Now, this concept was very important so that you guys will be able to understand what are the adventitious birds, right? Now, see here, where is this yellowish colored thing that you see? These are the adventitious birds. So this birds, where is it growing? Is it growing at the tip of the root here?
No, sir.
No, sir.
No, it is not growing there. Now look at this bud over here. That is a bud found on the stem. So is it growing at the tip of the leaves or tip of the branches?
No,
The
sir.
tip of the branches.
No, no.
No, sir.
When we
Sir,
refer
like,
to the tip of the branches now, so it basically we are referring to what? We are referring to the
sir,
leaves
but
now.
they're like kind of twigs, right?
No, twigs are different thing now. Twigs are entirely different thing. Twigs are what? Yeah,
Uh,
basically a woody small piece of woody stem. Those are
yes,
the
sir.
twigs now. Twigs are what? Like you have the branches. Yeah. So very small pieces of wood on the
No,
branches.
but
They are called as twigs now.
if we are talking about branches, like
Mhm.
for this picture, for this one, it is actually, the bud is actually growing from the branch, right?
It is growing from the branch. That is correct here. Right now. There is no doubt in that. But the thing is
That's what
that
I said.
haha. But the thing here is now that is it actually growing at the tip of this stem? Tip means what?
Oh,
Basically
no,
the
no, sir.
end.
No,
Basically the
sir.
end of the plant. Like here, end of the roots. That is the tips of the tip of the roots. Right. Also, when I
Okay.
was talking about tip of branches now, we are specifically referring to the new leaves, not also the old leaves, the new leaves. Why apical meristem will be found
Okay.
only there? Because apical meristem are the growing tissues. They are the growth tissues, right?
Okay, sir. I got it.
Okay. Also, like in different type of plants, you could be observing this type of birds, this birds, right now. Or also this bird that grows on the stem. If you were to in higher classes, you will get to know that they are called as terminal bud also. But then, like if you were to go that depth, you guys will be getting confused then. Okay,
But we learned about terminal bud last year.
you learned about it. Okay, good then.
Like, not much, a bit.
Haha. Terminal bud, it is the terminal bud also, right? And like if you studied about this terminal bud, you would be aware like it is also called as apical bud as well.
Oh, yes, sir.
Okay, now. Also, like it would be found in different type of plants, like it would be seen in bamboo plant right now. Okay, anyways, let's get back to what we were talking, right? We were talking about the adventitious birds. So here you get to see that the birds that grows on parts of the plants other than the apical meristem, other than the tip of the plant parts. So those are called the adventitious birds. This will be more clear if you were to look at the diagram of this ginger over here. See, there's a bird growing over here. Yes, Chakrika and Vaiga.
Yes, sir.
And this bird is actually growing where it is, isn't it growing at the tip of this tip of this plant,
Yes, sir,
tip
it
of
is.
tip
Yes,
of the
sir.
plant under the ground. So there will be presence of apical meristem tissue. Here will be presence of apical meristem in it. So that's why we are
So,
not calling it as adventitious bird, but only called as simply bird. Yeah.
so, like, what is the basic difference between apical bud, which is also known as terminal bud, and apical meristem?
Apical look, apical meristem is basically a tissue, right? And this apical bud, which we are seeing, apical bud, or also called as terminal bud. See, one is a tissue. When we say apical meristem, it is a type of tissue. So apical meristem, it is basically a tissue, but this is a bud now. This is a bud now. Now the reason you might be thinking like why it is called as apical bud, because here apical tissue is found somewhat right now. Here
So, it
apical
is called
tissue is
apical
found.
bud.
It is called as
So sir, it is called as apical bud because its shape kind of looks like a bud.
it in fact is a bird, not just because its shape looks like. It in fact is a bird.
Okay,
Okay,
sir.
now. Okay, let me quickly summarize what are the things we just have discussed. So I was basically moments ago saying that in the roots and root tips and in the tip of the branches or in the new growing leaves, we have a tissue called as apical meristem tissue, right? Okay, and I also told you guys to look at the birds found in a ginger. So in the bird found in a ginger, it is lying on the tip of this ginger. While look at the birds here, is the also one more thing. On the tip of this ginger, there will be presence of apical meristem tissue. Yeah, Vaika, Chakrika,
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
right? But here in the example of the birds shown here, there won't be any meristem tissue. Apical meristem tissue isn't found there, right? Now, so thereby we call them as adventitious birds.
So that's because it doesn't form at the end of the, like at the tip of the branch.
Exactly. So
Okay, sir.
adventitious birds, now they are these are such type of birds who are basically forming at different places from the on the plant, but on the part other than the tip of the plant. Hope it is clear, right?
Yes, sir.
So we will define it like this: adventitious birds are the birds that grows from unusual areas of the plant that do not contain which tissue? Which
Apical
tissue we were
meristem.
talking about? Apical meristem, right? So this was about the adventitious birds. So it could be growing from the leaves also. It could be growing from the stems like here, and it could be growing from the adventitious birds also, right? Okay.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Vaiga, is it clear to you also?
Yes, it is clear for me.
All right, then now let's continue about the natural vegetative propagation we were talking about, right?
Okay.
So we did talk about the underground stems that were mainly rhizomes, tubules, and bulbs. Corms is not part of the syllabus, so we won't be discussing that. Okay. While in this question, I would be covering that. Now, rhizome we did talked about. These were the basically horizontal underground stems, and they were basically modified to store food, right? And how it was
Yes,
taking
sir.
part in the vegetative propagation, simple thing is that if I were to cut it into different pieces, yeah, so each part has to be made sure that it consists of what? Yes, you guys tell me, we already discussed these things.
So can you repeat?
Yeah, how which part of this rhizome takes part in vegetative propagation? Yes. Yeah, Viger.
Sir, like which type of vegetative propagation?
Sir, like I actually didn't get the question.
The question here is now, like there are different parts of the plant that takes part in the vegetative propagation. So here, in the case of this ginger, is the propagation being done with the help of the seeds, huh? Or is it being done with the help of the stem, or the root, or the leaf? Obviously, it is what?
The seed.
Seed. We are
Seed.
talking about vegetative propagation, no?
Uh,
Sir,
sir,
root.
the stem.
Obviously stem, na guys.
Oh,
Huh?
okay.
Why both of you are agreeing on seed? We are talking about
Sir, I said
vegetative
stem
propagation.
after some time.
Okay, okay. Hmm. So look, in the process of vegetative propagation that is done from this, what we will do now? We will see that this birds that grows literally here now. So we say that we will be cutting this ginger into small sections. Let's say break it into 3 to 5 pieces, right? And then we simply plant it under the ground. So we have simply cutted this this ginger into small sections right now. And also like in the previous class I told you guys that in this rhizome bacteria is found as well, right now. So each
Yes, sir.
part will consist of rhizome bacteria living in it right now. And also we need to ensure that each part should be having at least one bud, this bud bud, so that shoot system can grow from this bud, right?
Yes,
Okay,
sir.
so in this manner this ginger plant takes part in vegetative propagation. First thing is that you cut it into small sections, right, Chakrika? Like depending upon
Yes,
its
sir.
size it could be cut into 3 to 6 pieces. Second thing is that I
Sir,
know that
like we did for potato, like we do for potato, right?
in the same manner we need to ensure that each piece should
Should have a bud.
should have a bud. Why? Because bud later on will develop in the shoot system of the plant,
Yes, sir.
right? And like there is already adventitious roots. Also you guys now answer this to me, why these roots are being called as adventitious roots? Yeah.
So because they're still premature.
No, that is not the basic reason for it.
Sir, because it is not actually growing from the
Hmm.
main root,
From the main root, or what
primary
is
root,
the main word you should be referring to is radical,
radical. Okay, sir.
right? So
Yeah,
the roots,
sir.
right, Vaika, right? No. So the root that does not originates from the radical are called as adventitious roots, right? So there isn't the issue about the adventitious roots here because each part will be having some amount of adventitious roots in it also. Okay? Hope it is clear.
Yes, sir.
Okay, then we did
Yes,
talked
sir.
about yeah. Then we did talked about tubers also, right? So here also vegetative part was the birds, right? Which later on develops into the shoot system.
Yes,
Then
sir.
you had example of the bulbs also. An example was the onion. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
And here new plants were arising from which part? Here, in the case of the bulbs, like in the onion, we saw that there were different parts over here. Yeah. You saw that you have example of tulips also. So they
So could you
had,
repeat the question again?
my question was that in the case of the bulbs, like the example of onion. So new plants were arising from which part of the plant? In the case of onion, which part of the onion was basically taking part in the vegetative propagation? Just observe the figure for a moment.
Sir,
Maybe
the
you will be
bulb,
able to answer it. The bulb, the whole structure is
the
called as bulb now.
tunicated bulb,
Yeah,
the tunicated bulb.
tunicated bulb. Hmm. Correct. This tunicated bulb that you see here. So via the help of this tunicated bulb, the propagation can be done. So basically, onion takes part in vegetative propagation through their bulbs, right? Yeah. Also, there was a middle stem running down in this onion, from which basically leaves were originating. That was basically the stem that is running down inside this onion, right?
So, sir, that is reduced stem.
That is actually a radius system, correct?
Okay, sir.
Okay. So if the question is asked that onion takes part in vegetative propagation, is it by the help of is it by the help of tubers, bulbs, seeds, or rhizomes? So your answer has to be onion is a type of what? Bulbs. And this whole part this whole structure, that is that bulb takes part in vegetative propagation. Like when you were to plant now onions, have you guys planted onion?
Uh, Maybe I don't remember, sir.
Yeah,
Okay, look,
I
some,
don't think so.
somewhere.
I did planted onions, right? So there we don't have to cut onions into different sections. The whole onion is planted under the ground. Yeah, you don't
So
cut in. Mhm.
that is if the onion has a bit of like the leaf and the
Mhm.
reduced stem, right? To the
Ah,
onion.
even if there is not no even if the root is not visible, then also if you were to plant it now, it will grow. It has to be but it has to be healthy. It should not be rotten. It shouldn't
Yes,
be
sir.
a rotten onion, right?
Okay,
So
sir.
the whole structure, that is the bulb, is taking part in the vegetative propagation. So the answer has to be bulbs now. Hope it is clear.
Yes, sir. It's clear.
Okay. Then you had example of the sweet potato. Sweet potato is actually it's actually a root. Okay. We might confuse it with the potato, which is an underground stem. Potato is an underground stem, while sweet potato is a root actually. Okay. You guys explain to me which part is taking, which part of this sweet potato takes part in the vegetative propagation. Like the answer is clearly visible here.
So
So,
the root.
root.
Which type of root?
So the advent. No.
Oh
Yeah.
my God.
So
Like,
the taproot.
Yes.
Sir, is it the taproot?
No. Yeah. What about you, Vaiga?
so I don't know.
So
Look,
is it adventitious roots?
look here. Basically, in this sweet potato, na, the part that is taking part in the vegetative propagation, it is obviously this adventitious birds or the roots here. Now it's up to you. Mhm.
Okay, sir.
Look over here. Is there any adventitious roots over here? Do we see any adventitious roots?
No,
Yeah,
sir.
they are basically adventitious birds that grows out of the sweet potato. So sweet potatoes, they are underground stems, right? And they take part in the process of vegetative propagation via the adventitious birds. Hope it is clear. Okay. And also sweet potato is a type of taproot now, right? So on tap roots, there is a birth of adventitious birds, and these adventitious birds takes part in vegetative propagation. So in this manner, sweet potato does vegetative propagation. Yeah, Vaiga, explain this what we just discussed.
What, sir?
Explain what we just discussed, like how sweet potato takes part in vegetative propagation. Which part also takes part in this vegetative propagation?
So, like, it takes part in the roots.
Okay.
Like, it forms buds.
Adventitious birds. Be specific.
Yeah, so adventitious buds.
Hmm. And adventitious birds are taking part in vegetative propagation. No? Later
Oh, yeah.
on, later on, what will happen? It will grow. New plants will start growing from these birds. right? Basically, shoot system will grow from it, right? So
Yes, sir.
adventitious birds takes part over here. And also sweet potato is a root. Is it a fibrous or tap root? Obviously, it's a
Taproot.
Sir, it's taproot.
tap root. Okay, you have some other examples of tap roots also, in which you get to see adventitious birds grow, and that takes part in vegetative propagation, right now. So you have example of dahlia also. You have example of tapioca. These are some other
So,
examples.
tamarind,
Which one?
like a tamarind.
Tamarind.
Yes,
Tamarind,
sir.
does it have a tap root or fibrous root, Vaiga?
So I guess it's having like taproot.
Tamarind, I don't remember about the tamarind. I think it's a dicot plant. Yeah, tamarind, since it's a dicot plant now, so thereby it will be having a taproot system, huh? So by reasoning we can conclude the taproot will also be an example. Sorry, tamarind will also be an example of it.
Okay, sir.
Okay. Now we talk about this leaves. I think we have discussed that also. So there also birds are growing, and those birds are adventitious birds, right? Why is
Yes,
it
sir.
being called as adventitious birds? Because you might at first like get confused, like these are growing from the leaves now. Yeah, you
Yes,
might
sir,
say like these are. Mhm.
but they're not growing from the radicals, so they are counted as adventitious buds.
Yes, sir.
Okay, look over here. Oh, we mixed one thing over here. Did you guys say when you were saying adventitious birds now? Remember what we studied for the adventitious birds? We studied that the birds that does not grows on the tip of the root and shoot system. That is what we studied, no guys? Yeah,
Yes, sir.
right now. So
Sir, but
thereby we confused it with the adventitious roots while we were explaining it for the while I was explaining it for this sweet potato. So here, like the birds, these birds they are growing from the parts other than the tip of the root and the shoot system, and where there is where apical meristem tissue is not found. Remember?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
yes, sir.
So that is the adventitious birds here. Okay.
Okay, sir.
So you have examples of bryophyllum. Apart from that, you have example of begonia leaves as well. Then you had this runners here. So in runners, we did discuss like in the case of this runners, we get to see that horizontal stems run parallel to the ground, and basically what happens when the stem touches the ground, root system starts to develop from it. So thereby it develops a new root system and new plant starts to grow from it. And we can basically simply cut it down. When we will study with artificial means of vegetative propagation, there we will see that when you will be cutting this stem, the two plants will be separated and the new plant will grow on its own. All right, now while it is still connected to the stem, it will be taking nutrition from this part of the soil and it will be taking nutrition from this main plant as well, right?
Okay, sir. Got it.
This thing you will be observing in the case of grasses also. Yeah. So if you were know, like grasses are also of different species. There are some type of grasses which are not interconnected, but some are interconnected. So if you were to uproot the grasses now, so like like several grasses will be uprooted at the same time. Why? Because their stems are connected to each other. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Hmm. So
Okay,
in the
sir.
case of runners, we get to see that the stem running horizontally close to ground develops root system after coming in contact with soil. Can you guys quote some other examples
Like other than strawberry, sir.
other than strawberry? Yeah,
Sir,
you have several examples of running plants.
sir,
Like
watermelon doesn't count, right?
So
which one?
grapes,
Watermelon?
Watermelon. I don't think
sir.
watermelons are runners.
Grapes.
Grapes.
Yeah.
Grapes are the climbers,
Oh, yeah, yeah, yes,
and
sir. I'm sorry.
that's another classification. But if you were to